We believe in Allah. We say, yes, there is a creator. We also believe in the Quran. Yes, the Quran is the book of Allah. We believe in angels. Yes, Allah created the angels. We call them beings of different realms that we cannot see. We believe in the resurrection after death, in a destiny in which Allah decrees everything. But we cannot feel in what we believe. We believe it, we leave it there. One day, if someone asks you, what is it, brother, that the essence of what you believe? Or asks a question that causes doubt in your mind, then we start to get confused. Is it really the truth? I believe in it. But we are worried about whether it has rhyme or reason. Here, this treatise written by Bediüzzaman shows both of the unbelievers of the century, the absurdities and mistakes of the way they go, and shows how absurd the foundations of atheism, materialism, and sophisticism are. And he also takes the imitative beliefs of believers to an investigate level. It leads to an unshakable faith. What is needed for this, folks? To have an unshakable faith? Evidence is required. So why do I believe? Summary of today's topic is there a God? They ask, is there? If there is, prove it to us. It's a very classical atheist question. Prove it. Now guys, there is a Kuddus subject that the master has covered in the 30th flash. Taking the subject as a whole, we will read it and contemplate together. There is a verse, it should be the verse 105 of Surah Yusuf. There are many evidences in the heavens and the earth that shows the existence, unity, and power of Allah. But people just walk past them without thinking about them. Now look here, God Almighty tells us something. In the heavens and the earth. If we approach the verse from here, for my existence, my unity, my might, my knowledge, and my will, there are endless evidences. But people do not think. They cannot comprehend what they think. They cannot reach to an end. They cannot conclude. Well, where does the problem start here? I ask, if one had doubt, would he send a verse saying, contemplate? Allah is constantly asking and commanding us in verses to use the brain that He has given us to think, to reason, to look at things in this way. We will use our brain and we will look at the universe we live in. We will examine a window and activity in the universe. And I'm going to ask you, is there Allah or not? Or as atheists say, is everything happened by chance? We were not created, as materialist philosophy says. Have we always been here? We'll examine this issue soon. So, see how Bediüzzaman tells us one manifestation of the evidence named Kuddus. Kuddus is a name of Allah. What does it mean? One who cleans, loves cleanliness. In other words, Kuddus is the title of all the deeds you see in the name of cleanliness. So how Razak is Allah? He gives sustenance. How Shafi He is, gives healing. So Allah is Kuddus, makes everything clean and pure in a way that is worthy of everything. Now with the window of this name, Ustad will make us think of the universe. Please listen very carefully. One manifestation of the divine name, Kuddus, became clear to me in the month of Shaban in Eskişehir prison. Isn't that an interesting thing? He says in Eskişehir prison. So this treatise written by Ustad was written in prison. Why was it written? Because the irreligious and unbelievers of that period were afraid of this interpretation of the Quran written by Bediüzzaman. Because after reading this work, they realize something, that as long as this work and the person who is the author of this work survive, we cannot tell, explain, or make these young people accept atheism and materialism. They wanted to stop this movement in a big way with imprisonment, dungeons, and poisoning because it narrows their field of irreligion, but in vain. It demonstrated. Pay attention with complete clarity both the divine existence, the existence of Allah. Be careful wherever we are looking, Yasin. We will look into the universe. Which window will we look at? We will look with the name of Kuddus. It demonstrated with complete clarity both the divine existence and divine unity, that is, that all the things in this universe are trained and managed by one Allah. I saw it as follows. O son, listen very carefully. The universe, we will contemplate and reflect together. The universe, that is the earth, these stars, these galaxies, is a vast, constantly working factory. Is it true, Ashraf? What do we understand when we say a factory? Movement, activity, manufacturing, ultimately product. Will the universe be a factory in the same way? It will. Trees and animals always produce something. Is it true? Well, what happens in factories, it'll tell soon. And the globe of the earth, which is continually filled and emptied, is a hostel and guest house. Is this the world we live such in? Billions of plants, billions of animals, insects, billions of people come, stay here for a while, like an inn, like a hotel, migrate and leave. Is there anyone to say the opposite of what I said? So this universe is a factory, the universe, this world is an inn. We are all going to come up with an idea right now. Generally, factories, hostels, and guest houses which are thus used become much dirtied and soiled with filth, debris, with the excesses released during that production, and rubbish and putrid matter accumulates in all parts of them. Yes, is it true? Is it true? You will see such things in the factory, in inns, in guest houses. Why do we see it? Because there is a movement inside, there is an activity. As a result of this activity, some dirt and pollution may occur. Unless they're kept with care, that factory, that guest house of the universe, that inn, pay attention. They cannot be occupied unless they are kept with a care and cleaned and swept. Human beings are overwhelmed by the dirt in that factory, that guest house, that inn. Soon you will see that how they are overwhelmed. The factory of the universe and guest house of the earth, however, are totally pure, clean, and spotless, and completely unsoiled, unstained, and fresh. There is nothing unnecessary, nothing without benefit, not a random piece of dirt to be found. Even if there is apparently, it is quickly thrown into transformation, machine, and cleaned. This means that the one who looks after this factory does so very well. Let's think together, brother Ashraf. Now, if this universe is a factory, an inn, except the inorganic ones produced by man himself, I'm not talking about them, shouldn't there be pollution in all these organic things? Is there? Go to the forests. Can you see any pollution in the forests? I'm not saying the non-organic ones that people throw away and produce. Billions of animals are dying. More leaves fall off than we can count. Normally, please imagine this process in your mind. If these dead animals, dead insects and leaves fall and come back over and over again, would we live in this world? So what's going on, guys? We see something called decay, right? Decay. So we see decay with fungi, bacteria. What are those fungi, bacteria doing? What are they doing? Tearing apart all the wood, leaves, and carcasses you have seen. They are separating them and bringing them back to the earth. Yes. Now, please look at what Allah said at the beginning of the verse. There are many evidences for the existence, unity, power, and knowledge of Allah in the heavens and the earth, but people do not think, they cannot realize because they pass by without thinking. Let's realize, is there any cleaning activity in the universe? Look, we will come one by one now. Indeed, its cleanness and tidiness are remarkable. If someone does not wash himself and clean his small room for a month, they will become extremely dirty. And so, is it not? I go to the place where Rashab works sometimes. His desk is not 1 square meter, but it is like a disaster. It's a rule. If there is an activity in a place, if there is a process, it gets contaminated. Why do you need to do? You need to clean it up. If someone does not wash himself and cleans his small room for a month, they will become extremely dirty and soiled. That's to say, cleanliness, purity, and luminosity in this palace of the world arise from a continuous, wise, and diligent cleaning. Look at the universe. You will see it soon. The universe is immaculate, except that man pollutes with the inorganic ones, and this cleaning activity is everywhere in the universe, from the particles to the cells, from galaxies in the universe to the stars, to the sky. There is a purge everywhere. So why does it attract our attention? Because we don't care. We are the person in the verse that Allah says. We pass by besides the verses that show the existence of Allah. We do not care. We do not think. We are other things we think about. If it were not for this cleaning, sweeping, and careful tending, in 1 year, I'll give you some information soon. They are very interesting. All the 100,000 animal species would have been choked on the face of Earth. Look, if it wasn't for living things like fungi, microorganisms, maggots, ants, those different vermin that eat corpses, life on Earth wouldn't be possible. When I watched this in a scientific documentary, he said something very interesting. If there were no mushrooms, there would be no life. Because the world would turn into garbage dumps, said the man. Without the bacteria, the world will become your usual litter box. The trash can. Because today, imagine animals are constantly dying. They stay as they die. 1 died, 2 died, 3 died. There is death, there is no rotting, and none of that corpses disappear. Now, I'm asking Ahmed, is rotting a cleaning then? So how were we looking at it? It's rotten, man. Rotting is a cleaning. Awesome. Now pay attention to what it says. Furthermore, the corpses of 100,000 animal species and the debris of 200,000 plant species each year on the face of the earth, resulting from the alternation and struggles of life and death. That is, imagine that all the dying trees, all the decaying plants that disappear, none of them wilt, so there is no decaying activity in any way, would have so utterly fulfilled the land and the sea that conscious creatures, rather than loving and delighting in the face of earth, would have felt disgust and aversion at such ugliness, and fled to death and non-existence. Now do you like forests and seas, right? How do you like the seas? You jump in the sparkling water, all my feet are visible, stones are visible. So how could such a thing happen? The sea normally needs to be terribly polluted. Why is that? Thousands of fish, thousands of animals die, but it doesn't get dirty. It is interesting, isn't it? We only experience these problems with human waste, but there is nothing organic waste. It is disappearing. In every way, it's thrown into the cleaning machine and undergoes metamorphosis. Just as a bird cleans its wings with ease and scribe his pages, so too the wings of the aircraft of the earth. I was very surprised to hear this phrase. Aircraft of the earth, we are really flying. One day I asked someone about 30 years old, I said, look, I'll give an example. You know the word round, standing in space. Really, he said. The man ignored so much. Bend over and look where we stand on. Look, he doesn't know that our world is spinning like a marble in the void. He asked me if that really is. Unfortunately, we got into so much heedlessness. So, to the wings of the aircraft of the earth and the birds of the heavenly bodies and the pages of the book of the universe are clean and made beautiful, so much so that people who do not consider the infinite beauty of the hereafter and think the belief become lovers of this cleanliness and beauty of the world, they worship it. If you're ready now, we are starting the contemplating part. Where do we see this cleaning? That is to say, the place of the world and factory of the universe display a greatest manifestation of the divine name Kuddus. In other words, the universe is honored with the manifestation of the name of Allah, Kuddus. And how does that look? Whereby it is not only the carnivorous cleaners of the seas. Have you ever watched a shark documentary? It said on the BBC that without sharks, the oceans wouldn't have existed. Why is that? Because thousands, millions, billions, maybe trillions of fish will die. But because it didn't go through the process of decay, destruction, being thrown into the machine of metamorphosis, what will happen? They are going to stand in the water. Now guys, do you know how many eggs a fish spawns? 5,000, 1 billion, yes, millions of thousands of eggs. So imagine that each of them is a fish. If that cleanliness of the sea inside had not been protected, every fish lays 1,000 eggs, each lays 1,000 eggs, every 1,000 lays 1,000 eggs. While it goes like this, what will happen if there was no mechanism to control? You will jump and fish scent if there is a place to swim? No. Look, what is happening? There is a great activity inside. So while the number of creatures in the sea is fixed to a certain extent in a planned way, at the same time, the dead fish are the dead creatures that will harm are cleaned by other cleaning workers. So what is the shark doing? What is the shark doing? Non-stop. Did you know that sharks never stop? They never stop. So I ask, isn't the shark a great recycling facility? Imagine we have such a garbage truck. Cleaning workers working in the municipality are coming. You throw away your garbage. From that side, he says, take it, my sister, a bowl. Instantly. Look, what is this shark doing? All the carcasses we ate without bringing anything troublesome, harmful, dangerous to the outside It turns them into a variation machine within its own structure. So what is the thing we call garbage for the shark? Sustenance. That's to say, both of Allah's names of Razak is manifested and the name of Kuddus is manifested. Both the name Mudabbir, who appreciates plans and manages everything, is manifested, and Musawwir, which makes everything with measure, plan, and shape accordingly, is manifested. We see the manifestation of all the names of Allah from this activity in the universe. Let's continue. And the eagles of the land, who is collecting carcasses. You watch documentaries. Vultures, eagles, right? It flies like that. Brother Metin, it is below. Brother, I saw a carcass below. What? Freeloaders. He called the vultures freeloaders. Without vultures, if there were no eagles, if there were no animals dealing with cleaning in the sky, what did those experts and scientists say? The world becomes uninhabitable. Look, we don't even notice any of them. They're collecting moment by moment everywhere. Done? Is the cleaning activity restricted to only meat-eating animals like sharks, eagles, vultures? No. Seamaster opens another window here. Like worms. Have you seen the tiny worms? Look, watch documentaries. One animal dies. Come on, by chance. The eagle did not see. The vulture did not see. What's the shark doing in the forest? Such a situation. But suddenly, a rapid decay inside that animal, so a cleaning activity is starting, and the tiny worms, I recommend you watch them in time-lapse, suddenly they take the animal out who? And they scatter in a weird way. Look. Please look at the cleaning activity. Now, whatever you throw, no matter what animal, what person it is, if it is carrion instantly, is it just them? No. But also it's cleansing officials which gather up corpses like worms and ants. You also know ants. Do they turn away? Friends, do you notice something? There's a great cleaning activity in the universe. There is a very planned operation. So we will work in the seas. Who will control it from the air? Who will look at them from the ground? How will it just incoming system, from bacteria to fungi, from sharks to all the carrion-eating creatures? You see, in the whole universe, we see an amazing cleansing activity. Be very careful. Obey the commands proceeding from that sacred cleansing, like the red and the white blood corpuscles flowing in the body. Obey those sacred commands. The eagle listens, the shark listens. They displays the execution of that cleaning order. I studied this. What kind of cleansing activity can be for red blood cells and white blood cells? You understand the shark, friends. You breathe like this. You breathe it. Was it alveoli? Something, I can't remember the name right. No, at the tip of your lungs. Alveoli. He knows everything, mashallah. If you do not come, we will do an illiterate lesson here. Tell me again, what was it? Alveoli. Alveoli, nice. So there are places like this tiny pin-sized pool at the very end of our lungs. Do you know what happens when you shoot? You take oxygen in, whoop, it goes there. Do you know what happens in that place like the pool? Blood is coming there. Blood comes there. Oxygen comes to that area with your breath. There in the part of the white blood cells, red blood cells, the one who gets the oxygen leaves. The one who goes to the veins. But at that moment, while taking it, leaves something in its hand. Carbon dioxide. What's happening? Every time you breathe, you clean your blood. Cleaning activity. So it is, cleaning activity is everywhere. Everywhere is being clean. There is cleaning activity everywhere. And do the cleaning in the body cells. I have come to the last part. I'm finishing. So does breathing, purify and clean the blood And that order, is that it? No. And eyelids obey the command to clean the eyes. There is a great cleansing action on your eyelids. It's amazing because our eyelids are so sensitive that Allah did not even leave the task of living, cleaning it up to our will. Look, you keep doing your eyes like this, involuntary, hundreds, maybe 1,000 times a day. Involuntary. Look, a system has been put here. What is it doing at the same time? It cleans the eyes with the liquid inside. Think of the wiper of a car that works continuously so that the eye continues to see, so that microbial things do not stay there. It goes on all the time. Is there any cleaning activity here then? There is. Yes, there are in forests, seas, in my blood, in my eyes. There is cleaning activity, and as eyelids obey the commands to clean the eye and the flies to brush their wings, except for those watching with that fly killer. What are they doing, bro? Continuously. Why is that? Because the wings of flies and their own body weight are very light. The smallest dirt can accumulate on them, can prevent them from flying. Therefore, constantly, I'm asking you now, can a fly know that? Dude, we will fly now, so how many grams? Can it do something like this? But someone ordered it, right? He is performing an activity outside of himself. What does the fly know about it? Do eyelids know you? They don't. The eyelids are constantly cleaning your most precious organ. So, what more he says? Let's read here. To clean the eye and flies to brush their wings, so the extensive atmosphere and the clouds obey it. What are the things we call clean to us? It's limpid. You look at the sky, suddenly the sky is covered with gray clouds. So there is an image in the sky that will disturb us, but you are looking at it, there is no continuity. What comes after a while? A wind is coming. The wind is taking all the clouds to go different places. You're watching a sparkling sky. What happens next? Then suddenly dust soil enters the air, into the oxygen we breathe. God Almighty suddenly drops tons of water. When it becomes harmful to us, as those waters descend, drops all the dust particles in the air, all those microbes goes into the soil. After the rain, you breathe a nice air. Why? Because it was cleaned again. What I want to tell you is this, what that means. Here in the universe, you can see that there is a cleaning activity everywhere. Let's connect the topic now, friends. We will say this then, as the atheists say. What did they say? These things happen on their own. There is no creator. So they mean this. These sharks, ants, worms, and the vultures, blood, red blood cells, white blood cells, oxygen, all of them are conscious beings. Who will live in this universe? When will this universe be cleansed? How the order of the cleaning work will be? How much there are such infrastructure and unknowledge of cleaning in the whole universe are possessed by these entities. They are doing these things by themselves. They themselves express this by saying that there is no creator. I'm asking you now, guys, from the body design of the shark to the place where it is employed, isn't a work that requires a science willpower? Would you accept if they say that? Look here, you all came. Currently there are 700 or 800 people here. We are putting a vacuum cleaner over there. I'm explaining the logic of the atheist. We put a vacuum cleaner. Everyone is living here. There are no men left in the classroom. Then you come back on Friday. Nobody entered here until that Friday. But when you get here, it's sparkling. You saw the vacuum cleaner. It was on the way. Would you say that? The vacuum cleaner did it. Because it makes sense. Because what does a vacuum cleaner do? Sweeps. It is in its nature to sweep. Is it correct? Because what does a vacuum cleaner do? It sweeps, does the cleaning job. If we have a vacuum cleaner, then a vacuum cleaner is not needed. Saying that nobody's a sweeper, a cleaner, a vacuum cleaner has done it. It's like saying the eagles, vultures, worms, and ants mean the same thing. In other words, there is no Allah. It is the eagles and worms who are aware of this clearing. They will appear out of nowhere saying this filth will disturb people, dude. Let's run and clean it now. Ants, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, lift. Vultures fly constantly saying, what's below? Don't stop, please, people come to earth, they have a little life, let's not leave a filthy earth. Who calculated these? Who is doing this cleaning activity? Here the Ustad says that you look at this universe, see the magnificent cleansing of the universe, and as Allah expressed himself to you in the Quran, I am Kuddus, I am the creator of all cleaning activity in the universe. You will see this when you look at the universe. This cleansing activity, what you see, requires an infinite knowledge that cannot be given to any other being. Guys, let me say this sentence and I'll finish. Whoever created the apple I ate created my stomach. Right? Where did we come to this conclusion? Because the apple I eat and my stomach is perfectly compatible. When I eat, my stomach acids are so that they can separate it completely. That is, whoever created this as a substance knows me very well. Someone who does not know me cannot create an apple. Is that clear? So it means someone who knows that a being like a human will live on the earth is cleansing this universe of human beings. Do the ants know about us? Should they clean the universe for us? They don't even know what they are doing. Those beings are not aware of anything. Like what? Like a vacuum cleaner. Is the vacuum cleaner aware of what it's doing? Of course, we know that behind the vacuum cleaner there is a manifestation of knowledge, will, and might. The vacuum cleaner is in the front. Here's what atheists say because they just see the vacuum cleaner. They say, there is no creator. What does Allah say? Think. Think. Can a vacuum cleaner do these things by itself? Think. Can these beings, the shark, ants, wolves, red blood cells, white blood cells, eyelids, flies, and those who are more than I can count to these cleaning activities themselves? Or do we see the existence of a creator with knowledge, will, and might behind them all? Obvious. Therefore, Islam is the choice of smart people. You always get angry, but atheists are a complete idiot. Al-Fatiha.